My best friend Neo took a business trip to Thailand and decided to come and visit Malaysia. This was a good reason for me to do some exploring in Malaysia, as I have not had much chance to travel due to the previous movement control order. Even though his Air Asia flight was late arriving, we went to a famous Malaysian restaurant chain and ordered him nasi lemak on his arrival as a fitting introduction to Malaysia. We then took the airport express train to KL Central and our hotel. The next morning, we were greeted by this stunning view of the Twin Towers from our trader's hotel room window. After breakfast, we departed on our half-day tour of Kuala Lumpur. The first stop was the Istana Negara, the National Palace, which is the home of the King of Malaysia. The King, or Argon in Malay, is appointed for 5 years from one of the sultans of the various Malaysian provinces. We joined a throng of tourists just in time to see the King's motorcade returning to the palace and the horse guards. After a few minutes of looking around and taking pictures at the palace, we drove past the Railway Administration Building, an old British colonial building constructed in a neo-Moorish style in 1917, located next door to the old KL railway station. And then we moved on to walk around the exterior of the National Mosque. Where there were lots of people and families dressed in their best to celebrate Hari Raya. Here is our very knowledgeable guide for the half-day tour, Mr. Helmish Amruden, apologies if I mispronounced that, at the National Mosque. After a quick drive past the KL Bird Park Aviary and the Police Museum, we moved on to the Merdeka or Independence Square area. It was here on the 31st of August 1957 that the Malaysia flag was raised for the first time, replacing the Union Jack. Here we posed for pictures, along with the many other tourists, outside the KL Art Gallery. We looked around the Independence Square area, admired the ornate and iconic Sultan Abdul Samad building, which used to be the seat of the colonial government. Then we posed for pictures at the kilometer zero marker, the point where all distances in Malaysia are measured from. We went to the River of Life area, which is at the confluence of the Klang and Gombak rivers, which perfectly frames the Jamak Sultan Abdul Samad Mosque. a very beautiful Moorish-style mosque which once served as KL's main mosque. And we had a look at one of the many buildings in KL covered in detailed murals. Of course, iNEO took many pictures. We then moved on to the Tien-Hu Temple. This is one of the largest Chinese temples in Southeast Asia, with its soaring 6 tiers and large spaces. On the grounds of the temple is a delightful garden featuring the 12 animals of the Chinese zodiac. The temple, dedicated to the Chinese sea goddess Maizu, was started in 1981 and construction was completed in 1987. The temple features elements of Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism with an array of ornate pillars, ceilings, and archways. Our half-day tour ended at a Btiq Factory. Btiq is a traditional Malaysian art form and there were many fine examples on display. As well as meters of batiked cloth with unique patterns. This was the Malaysian version of forced shopping, but unlike the Chinese versions I have experienced before, it was very low-key. We were not pressured in any way, and we were free to leave when we had looked around. I asked our very accommodating guide to drop us in the Bukit Bintang area so we could stop by one of my favorite Middle Eastern restaurants, Damascus Shawarma and Barbecue. We had a late lunch of lamb shawarma, tabbouleh and baba ganoush. In the mid-afternoon we walked over to Pavilion to take a look at the Hari Raya decorations. Then we took a quick stroll through the KLCC shopping centre and park. Then back to the hotel for supper and to enjoy more spectacular views of the KL skyline and the Twin Towers from our hotel room window.